The Monkey is written and directed by Osgood Perkins and stars Theo James in a dual role as Bill and how twin brothers who find their father's old monkey toy in the attic after that, a series of gruesome deaths occur and the siblings decide to throw the toy away and move on with their lives. But eventually, that evil monkey comes right back, leaving a bloody trail of death in its way. I love Perkins' last film, Long Legs, and The Black Coat's Daughter is also very good. But with this movie, he's trying out something very different, because The Monkey has just as many laughs as it does. Horror. This movie is surprisingly hilarious, most of it due to an extremely tight edit. I got quite a bit of laughs out of some very abrupt cuts, usually leading to a funeral, and there are a ton of funeral scenes in this movie because a whole lot of people die in it. But the film also does try to take the topic of death somewhat seriously. Although with a very dark sense of humor, characters talk about the looming threat of death quite often in the movie. Tatiana Maslany has a great monologue about it to her young sons, sharing with them the rather morbid details of life that perhaps they're a little bit too young to necessarily be thinking about. But it also explains how they end up the way they do when these brothers are older, and both played by Theo James. Both of them never got along, but they especially don't as adults. They haven't spoken in years, and the Theo James that we're with the most only sees his son. But once a year, his son has no idea why. Of course, we know that he doesn't want the threat of the monkey to be passed on to his son, just like his father gave it to him. This is where I think Osgood Perkins is a very interesting director for this material, because the movie does explore the notion of horror being passed down from father to son. And of course, OSG, Good Perkins' father, is Anthony Perkins, one of the most famous figures in film, but especially in horror. And what's great about it is that even though that is a serious subject matter in the film, and every actor is supposed to play it completely straight. A big challenge, I imagine, for someone like Theo James in the middle of some rather wild kill scenes. Even with the fact that the movie is taking these topics seriously, Perkins also has an absolute blast when it comes to poking fun amidst the dark, seedy underbelly of his film. It's a really long-winded way to say the film doesn't feel like it's taking itself too seriously, which is great for this material. It's a toy monkey that bangs a drum, and then people die. It has to have a little bit of humor about itself. But clearly Perkins, his actors and his crew, gave all the care to this material they possibly could, because it's presented wonderfully. The kill scenes in this movie are magnificent. There are a lot of them, and they are extremely bloody. I loved what is essentially a modern-day splatter film. We haven't gotten too many of those lately. A lot of studios have been afraid to be completely honest, to be more gory in films, because some people get turned off by it, especially for mass audiences. This movie is not concerned about that at all. A lot of people die, and you see everything, and it's meant to make you gag. And with these deaths, I think they found the perfect balance between convincing in a way where it will make you squeamish, but also exaggerated in the way that you can have fun with it. Theo James is really great here. I know he's done other things since Divergent, but I haven't really seen any of those things. This is my first time seeing him in something since then, and this is like a revelation for me. I thought he was wonderful in this movie, very, very funny, but also gives a great amount of empathy to a character that could easily be not empathetic, because he is purposefully ignoring his son and not giving his son answers when his son is like, hey, why don't I ever get to see you? And he's very walled off from it because he doesn't want to say, well, I got this toy monkey that might kill you, because that'll just make him look insane. But he brings a lot of warmth to a character that is completely shut off from most of the world. And he's also great as his 3-minute older brother who has some plans of his own when it comes to The Monkey. This being a short story from Stephen King, whenever something like that is adapted, there's always this threat of expanding on it to such a degree that the short story doesn't support looking for things that aren't there, looking for ways to make it bigger than it needs to be. This film, at about 95, 96, 97 minutes with credits, is the perfect runtime for a movie that basically is a slightly more art-housey-leaning Final Destination. And we're getting another Final Destination film this year. So, as a fan of that franchise, I am very happy I had concerns about this going in, because as much as I like Long Legs, a story about an evil doll or a toy that is causing chaos and murder is fairly overdone at this point. There's so many of them, and they've been around for a very long time, and I'm sure we'll still get more. But this one sets itself apart by understanding how silly it is, and just being completely goofy, and really embracing that. And like I said, the kills really do deliver. So I was going to say, if you've seen the film, let me know you think about it. But it doesn't really come out till February 21st. There were some early screenings, so if you have seen the movie, let me know if you enjoyed it, what you think of it. And when you eventually do, I'll be curious to hear your thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. And if you like this, please subscribe and like the video.